right, let's talk to Ron Jaworski. He was 12 one day, but right now, NFL analyst, and of course, we love the opportunity to talk to Jaws. Good morning, Jaws.
Good morning, Joe. I was 12 a long time ago, but thank you for the mention.
You got it, my man. And maybe you read Tom Sawyer back in the day.
Of course I did. Everyone did.
That was a classic. So, Jaws, a lot of ways to go here. 7 moves that are notable this year by Howie. Let me just recount them for everyone if you're just tuning in on this trade deadline day. So right before the season starts, he trades for backup quarterback Sam Howell. Then he also trades for kick returner and running back Tank Bigsby. Then he salvages the backup offensive line situation, trading for Fred Johnson. Then, and it's incredible, Jaws, this was 4 moves ago. 4 moves ago, he signs Brandon Graham. Then he trades for Michael Carter. Then he trades for Jair Alexander. And then yesterday he trades for Jalen Phillips. And Jalen Phillips should be the best of this crew. Jaws, let's get to it. Jalen Phillips, 3rd-round pick. That's not... Jaws, let's get to it. Jalen Phillips, 3rd-round pick. That's not small compensation. How good is he? What do you expect from Jalen Phillips with the Eagles?
Jalen Phillips is very good, and he'll be very good in Vic Fangio's system. My only concern with Jalen Phillips are the injuries. He's been banged up a little bit the last couple of years. He's had some surgeries, Achilles, so those things are unknown as far as your health goes. But he's kind of a one-dimensional player. He's a pass rusher, and it's exactly what the Eagles need, is that edge rusher. He's not a guy that's going to play the run very well. He's not very good in pass coverage, but he can rush the quarterback. That's the need right now. So, I mean, a really good acquisition at this time of the year for the Eagles.
Definitely, and then that pass rush works in conjunction with the coverage behind it, and we added 2 cornerbacks, sort of different skill sets. Those cornerbacks. What do you make of those guys?
I'm not as excited as maybe most people are. I'm excited about the volume we now have and how he addressed, but most people were well aware of that. We had struggled at corner number 2. And, Michael Carter, obviously, coming from the Jets. And when you look at Jair Alexander coming from Baltimore, you just kind of want – there's a little bit – I like the fact that we're addressing the problem, but these aren't exactly Eric Allen-type acquisitions that we're picking up. But I think time will tell. I think they get in a good system and a good place for them. Baltimore's been struggling, and obviously the Jets have been struggling for a long time. When you get in a good place with a good team, a good coaching staff, sometimes the light goes on, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for in regards to Carter and Alexander.
So Jaws with us here. Jaws, what if you had a position that you could wave the magic wand and they make one more move to upgrade? Many are saying O-line, and maybe that's it. I also throw safety out there because of Makuba. He worries me as a starter. What one position would you like to see them upgrade today?
I'm really not that concerned about any position. I think the offensive line has solidified itself through some injuries and played really strong the last couple of games. I'm not going to say let's go out and grab some, but I'll leave it up to Howie. I think Howie's, as usual, you start out talking about the great moves Howie's made, and Howie can't sit still, which is why we all love Howie. He just wants to continue to make the roster better and the team better. So right. I don't see any particular specific area of need right now. With Phillips, we addressed the pass rusher, the edge rusher. I think that's good. We have volume at the corner position. Safeties are solid. We got depth at the safety position. So I don't see any real pressing need right now.
Charles, when you look around the rest of the NFC, how do we compare right now? It feels like the Commanders really are down. The rest of our division is down, but you look outward, the way west, Seattle is having a heck of a year. There's sort of a shift of power going on in the NFC. Seattle's way up. The 49ers feel like they're down a little bit, but we are, I feel like, sort of at the top of it all. Where do you think we fit?
I'm with you right now. I would throw the Rams in there with Seattle. I mean, the Rams are playing good, solid football. But I think the most surprising this past weekend is, Detroit lost, Green Bay lost. Those are the 2 teams that I was saying, boy, we're going into murderer's row these next couple of weeks. We're going to find out about ourselves. And
the Vikings,
both those
young
teams lose.
QB.
So there's not a dominant team right now. If any team is the dominant team, it's the Eagles.
Yeah.
Joe, is Sam Darnold as Seattle's quarterback to be believed in?
Yes. Yeah.
And then why did he struggle so much in the post?
He's always had the ability. He's always had ability. And my recollection of his draft, everyone loved the kid. Everyone, the scouts that I spoke to that attended his pro days loved the kid. You get in a bad situation, which he was in New York. You got no chance. I think the fact that he went to the Rams and spent a year just hanging out, was a real positive for him. And he obviously had a great year.
Sean McVay.
With McVay.
What is it?
One of the best quarterback coaches in the business. He
Just
had playing time in Minnesota and did very, very well. People are going to remember the playoff game, and that everyone has bad days. He had a bad day. Yeah. But I think he's a big, strong, tough kid. He'll lose a couple throws along the way, but I am not surprised by Sam Darnold's success.
It's amazing. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield also. Baker Mayfield's career was essentially revived. He credits Sean McVay. He had 5 games at the end of a season where he was with them trying to.
By the way, I think you guys are, Jaws. I think you guys are commingling two young offensive guru type coaches. McVay with the Rams, but he was with Shanahan with the Niners. Darnold
was with Shanahan, and Baker was with McVay.
But I get how you're the two West Coast guys that are young and effective.
We talk about coaching all the time.
Yeah,
that position. It is utterly the most important position that must be coached, and you must coach the quarterback hard. Sometimes, the good quarterbacks become really great quarterbacks, a little bit of a prima donna in them, and they stop being coached hard. The guys that are consistently successful week in and week out are the ones that are coached hard. They have they're in a good system. They have good coaching staffs. They have a solid offensive line around them. The offensive line is absolutely critical for week in and week out success in the NFL.
Sure.
Start with the old line. There's no secret why. Jalen Hurts has been so successful. His offensive line has been terrific for him. Gives him ample protection. Some of the guys get beat up every week. They got no shot. They got. I'm watching last night. I'm seeing, holy cow! Look at this Dallas quarterback getting beat up. Getting hit all over the place. You're not going to be. I don't care what receivers you got. If your offensive line doesn't protect you, you got no shot.
Jaws, let's talk about the Eagles in the second half coming out of this bye. So we've talked about players they could acquire or have acquired, but then there's style of football. Last year, a seismic change. They started running it a lot more, and obviously they rode that all the way to a Super Bowl title. Stylistically, out of the bye, what would you like to see the offense and the defense do differently to make them even a better unit?
Yeah, I think defensively, my quick evaluation is Vic has picked up the blitz pressure. And I think he's done that because, he just hasn't been getting real good pressure with his down linemen. So he's had to bring a safety, bring in a slot occasionally. He'll create and manufacture pressure on the quarterback. So I think Vic can handle that. And I'm a big believer offensively in balance. I always say the B word. You got to have balance, run-pass balance. I mean, last year, our run-pass balance was 54% run, and we were world champions. That, to me, I think around 50-50 is a normal for this team would be absolutely perfect. 50-50 run balance. Now, it's not going to be the same every game. At the end of the year, you go, okay, what do we do? We were 50-50. I think that's what this team should be, balanced.
Amazing.
Yeah. Jaws, great stuff, my man. Love having you on the program. We'll talk to you next week, obviously, after they play that game, and looking forward to it. Thanks, Jaws.
It's fun in Green Bay.
It's a bit. Listen, Jaws, okay, so let's just do one more. Green Bay is what? How good are they? What are they? What kind of challenge for the Eagles?
Oh, it's a challenge, and they're going to be pissed off this week after being beat last week. So we're going to get two angry teams. Detroit losing, we're going to get them. I only take one game at a time, so I don't want to look ahead to Detroit. But Green Bay will be a tough one in Green Bay. We'll get their best shot. 1-1
in these next two?
I think 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel good about this team.
Look, if 2-0, rev up the Super Bowl
engine. It's on.
Jaws, are we the best team in the NFC?
Pardon me?
Are we the best team in the NFC?
Right now, I'd say yes.
Good deal.
Agree.
Jaws, stay well, my man. We'll talk soon. Thanks,
I'm
Jaws.
with you, John.